All right. Well, I hope that you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you are from the United States of America. Now, I know Canadians, you guys celebrated Thanksgiving like a month and a half ago. So anyways, but good morning, or if it's afternoon or noon for you right now, we're so glad to be together. I saw somebody say, okay, cool. Thanksgiving was a delight. That is awesome. Very good, very good. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, indeed. Good morning from the Florida Panhandle. And guys, I've had a very fun and active last few weeks, really. It's been a lot of stuff going on, and it's been really, really wonderful. Lots of good things, and it's also really fun to be back here and doing another painting and hanging out with you guys. So shout out to you all for showing up. And freezing Tennessee. Oh no. Good evening from Germany. I love it. Okay, good, good. Okay, so today what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the painting we're going to paint, and then we'll jump into it. Of course, I've got my black canvas here. Let me just see. There we go. So this is a frosty, snowy scene from not very far from here. It was, I don't remember exactly the time of year, except that it was obviously winter. And the sun was, I loved seeing how the sunlight kind of on the trees and the hills in the background, but then this foreground in shadow. So I'm going to do some, hopefully like really kind of push and pull those shadows and the light and really get some depth in there, but also show just the contrast between the cool and the warm. So that's the first thing I want to show you. I also want to just say, I know a lot of you already purchased a miniature challenge, but I just want to say a huge sale is still going on. So go to miniaturechallenge.com. Super awesome. And I know I've still been getting lots of texts from people signing up. To make sure that you don't miss one of these, text me at this number 425-400-2094 and make sure you just say, hey, let me be on your text list. And here is, again, the reference for today. Take a screenshot of this if you want to or need to. This will be where you see this. I'm going to change over to the palette here in just a second. Oh, and I'm going to have to do something. I just realized. Bear with me for a second because I'm going to have to really quickly get the image onto this other computer because it's going to be the wrong reference photo. I already know. See that? So I need to go like this. Let me see if I can do it this way. Present. Okay, give me just a second. Here we go. This is the easiest way for me to do this. Okay. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I do appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Now, I will grab the other image and we'll make it work. And I'll talk about my colors a little bit here. Okay, so I've got the usual suspects. I have titanium white, cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, quinacridone red, ultramarine blue. This is phthalo green, and this is Mars black. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to put out phthalo green today, but I thought, you know, maybe it would be a nice color to be able to introduce in some of the shadow areas. So we'll see. What I also was doing, as you can see, I already started drawing this out here because I thought I might just save a little bit of time. And I'm using a Sharpie creative marker. This is not a normal Sharpie. It's an acrylic based marker. And I want to get the kind of the essential part of this scene on the canvas. And then I want to also start painting with larger, more deliberate brush strokes. So it might be a variation of the brushes that I'll use, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll contribute to a dynamic painting here with oh man, I put on my black gesso with a brush that lost several of the whatever the bristles. So I keep running across loose bristles here on the ground or on the canvas, which is kind of funny. So I'm going to try to get a little bit of pattern kind of coming in here and going back here. And then I'm going to, there's this scene, these trees actually stop just like right here, but because of the crop, I couldn't make them stop on this reference photo. So I'm going to just make them stop in my painting here and maybe be able to look back a little further. And there is this cabin type house back here also that I kind of like. So I'll put that in here. And we'll see. That might not work right there. Maybe I'll need to move that, but I'll leave it for right now. And let's see. Maybe this tree should be a little taller. Got this hill in the background that comes down. And that's good enough for me. Okay, so are we ready to do this? I don't know what this means. I don't know if you're talking to me, Cheryl, but if you are, I'm so glad too that we're doing this. All right, so let's go. I'm going to get out the big brush once again. We want to be a combination. This is what I'm going for. A combination of really big brush strokes with like some fine detail. I want it to be a combination of big and small, but mostly big with just a few areas that are going to be more refined or a little bit more detailed. By the way, guys, Raven is here with me. So if you do have a question or you want me to slow down or you want to say something or whatever, you can always shout it out in the comments and he is going to be watching and keeping track. Shout out to Raven.
Hello.
There we go. But you're on mute, bro. Did you unmute yourself? Oh, you're with me. That's right. I always forget that. I was just looking at the screen and seeing. That's so funny. We're basically hooked up to the same camera. So the microphone is hooked up to the same camera. So I've got a mic on and he's got a mic on. But when I look at the screen, I see his computer on there also, because that's how he's seeing the comments and everything. But it looks like the computer is muted. I mean, it is muted. So that's why I got confused. So let's see. How was your guys' Thanksgiving for those of you who celebrated this last Thursday? Anything fun? Anything good? I can tell you where I was, but I'd love to hear a little bit from you guys. what was good? We actually had a second Thanksgiving dinner yesterday over at Renee's sister's. That was nice. Good to see nieces and nephews. So I'm just very, really trying to add a lot of variety to this. You know, we've got actually even some snow on here that we can throw in there. But I'm just gonna keep using the big brush, right? We want this to be interesting and dynamic, and the big brush is going to accomplish a lot more. It's gonna keep us loose. It'll give us a certain style as well, like it's big and flat. And so if we keep it in our hand for as long as we can, it's going to shape, it's going to like change the way that these get shaped and everything. Any comments? Thanksgiving was great. We spent it in Temecula, California with family and friends. It's awesome. Oh, Raven, did you like Mexico? Raven actually didn't go to Mexico with us. We would have taken Raven with us, but it was a last, we were only able to think about it for a little while, and it was too late really to plan it. But he did go to Arizona with us the week before, or the weekend before. It was just a few days before, wasn't it? So here is where I like this idea of kind of like creating patterns, and this big brush will be great to get some big brush strokes on here, and also leave some of the black still and work around and hopefully just create interesting shapes and work within a nice composition here. Yeah, we were in Mexico from Monday until Friday. We went down and we built a house for a family through an organization called Homes of Hope. And it was, we've done it 3 years. The only year we didn't do it was last year because there was a mix-up in the reservation, and the base that we go down to and work out of, they had accidentally given our reservation away to somebody else, so we didn't have it. But the experience is really a wonderful experience, and we have this amazing Thanksgiving dinner. And I know this is kind of, I don't know, this will sound mean or something, but I don't miss our Thanksgivings here. I actually like the Thanksgiving down there. You're doing something that's really meaningful and important. It feels, like giving a family a really big improvement to their living situation, and making an impact on a whole, really not just one family, but a new, that'll impact generations, because that's what happens. You go from living on a dirt floor and wandering and getting sick, and the rain washing your stuff away, and just crazy stuff that we take for granted. And you go to having a house that has a foundation, and it's it really makes a difference, and it changes the family. Kids are able to have a lot more security, and they're able to do better in school. It's really, really cool to see, because one of the things that often happens is that those kids end up being connected. Like, I can't remember what percentage it was, but it was like 10% of the kids actually end up coming and working for Homes of Hope later in life, which is really amazing. So again, this is where I love the pattern of this snow down here. And I love how it's like clumpy and things. And I could probably try to portray the clumps more accurately, but I'm not too worried about that. I just like the idea of what they are. And so my general thought with this was to keep this mosaic type style in this painting. And I'll see if it works, because I don't know if I've done a snow painting with this kind of style, but I anticipate that it should work okay. Marie, good multitasking. I like it. Okay, but you guys want to hear the crazy story of our coming back from Mexico? All the everything was totally normal and fine down there. I mean, everything was good, nothing crazy, but our trip home was quite eventful. Okay. So here's what happened. We were scheduled. We don't make the schedule, okay? So we just do what we're told when we're down there. It's kind of like going on a guided fishing trip. That's one of the best ways to describe it. It's like all you really have to do is show up, and the team down there will make everything happen. They've already contacted the families and vetted everything and put the foundation in place, and like so many things. They've ordered the supplies for the house, and they give you a place to stay and your team, and they feed you, like it's all a very well-oiled machine. They give you builders who go on the job sites with you and build. And so all of it makes it very easy to jump in and have a great experience without too much logistical, like figuring out of anything, because they do that for you. And of course, that's wonderful. And so 99% of the time, we've never had any hiccups or anything like that. Like, there's never been anything. But this time, there was this one little hiccup. And it's just that on the way back, they scheduled our bus for 6 hours before our flight. Now, we drive from Ensenada, Mexico to the border. We get out at the border because we're in a big charter bus, and it's quicker to get out and to walk across the border than it is to stay in the bus. So that's just the way it is. We've done this every year. And I think just kind of depending on the year, they pick one of two places that you can cross. And so anyways, we pulled up this year, and our now I need to say this one other thing, that they say Renee read this in an email, that they say you should give yourself 7 hours of time between when you leave the base and when your flight is. And Renee noticed that our bus had a 6-hour window instead of a 7-hour window from the time that we were supposed to leave on the bus till the time that our flight was taking off. And she thought about saying something, but everything has always worked perfectly. So she decided not to say anything. And, because you just say, like, there's never been any issue. But when we got to the border, instead of a hour-long wait or a 2-hour-long wait, it ended up being a 3-hour-long wait. And so we realized, we're not going to eat lunch on the other side, because normally we stop for lunch. We just said we have to get to the airport like now, right? So we just hustled to the airport, and we knew it was going to be close. But we were there like at the time that the plane was boarding. That's when we showed up. And some of us had checked in online, but we needed to get our bags. Some of us had luggage that needed to get on the flight. So we were headed to the check-in place, and we were talking with the people, and they said, actually, you can't make this flight. They just said straight up, like, none of you are getting on this flight. It's already too late. We can't get the bags on because we're past that stage. That was 20 minutes ago. You guys will have to catch a different flight. So we're like, oh my goodness, what now? What are we going to do? And they said, here's the number. We can't book it for you right now because it was a group of 23 of us. So it's a little bit more complicated than just a couple of us trying to get a flight. But they said, we'll give you a number. You can call our team. And so I jumped on the phone with this team because Renee and I were in charge of this trip, okay? And we're the team leaders. And so I jump on this call, and this amazing person on the other line, on the other end, says, hey, no problem. We actually have 2 more flights that leave San Diego and are direct to Seattle. We'll get you all on one of these next 2 flights. Unfortunately, they were one of them was 4 hours later and the other one was 6 hours later. So it wasn't going to happen immediately, but at least we could get on these flights. So a bunch of the people, 13 or 16 out of the 23 got on the next flight. And then there were 7 of us that were going to be on the last flight of the day. And so we're all kind of waiting. And the first group, some friends of ours said, okay, we're going to go through security. We're ready. We can do this. And they started moving towards security when the wife says, wait a second, where's my backpack? Oh, they start looking, you start kind of trying to figure out what's going on, trying not to panic too much. But her backpack with all her wallet, headphones, all these things was all of a sudden not visible, not anywhere. And they start looking around. They're told it could have gone down to, if it was left somewhere we actually thought they said that one of the airline people had taken it to the lower level, to the lost and found. So they went down and they look in the lost and found, but it's not there. So they come back up and they're starting to think, what, there's no way that it would have just disappeared. And if it wasn't in the lost and found, so they end up calling the security, and a police officer shows up and he starts walking with them through like what's going on. And now they're not in a time rush because there's 4 hours. So don't worry about the timing. We all had plenty of time, but they start thinking, man, what is in there? Can we track anything? And the wife realizes that she had some AirPods in the backpack. So she tracks them, and they are 15 minutes away from the airport in that neighborhood, right? So we realize, okay, yeah, absolutely, it was stolen. Backpack was stolen. So we're, those of us who are around, like I was right there with them, and I'm like praying for them, trying to help them, not be too worried about it. But obviously it's like really disturbing. Somebody took, and here's the thing, it had $1,000 of cash, which was emergency money that we had split up between a few people, just for the trip. It wasn't just them that had it, but she had $1,000 cash in the backpack. She had her driver's license. She had 2 pairs of headphones, including the AirPods. She had something else that was, I can't remember everything, but it was a lot of stuff that was very valuable, plus her credit card. And so they called and canceled the credit card. They're doing all these things, trying to figure out, but we could track that about 45 minutes before the backpack had been in this one neighborhood, this one area. So the police officer took all the information and he said, you know what, the best thing that I can do now is go and I will get on my computer. We're going to look at the video recording from the airport. We're going to, we'll send people to the site where we saw the backpack last, and we'll just see what we can do. But honestly, who has that much hope that anything's good is going to happen when it's been missing for, any length of time? But it's just like, what is the chance that you'll get it back? Not very much. So they're really bummed out, and she's mad at herself because she looked away from the backpack or walked away. Everybody's trying to remember what exactly happened, where was it, everything like that. But they give the information to the police officer, and there's nothing more to do. So they just say, okay, well, we're gonna get on the plane. We're gonna get through security and go to the other side. And they do. They get on the plane. And anyways, we were thankful, but not that hopeful. And then the craziest thing happened. I go back and I'm ready to get on the plane, but we have like another 2 hours. And I'd been sitting all day, like literally been just sitting all day, because we rode a bus. Then we just had to wait on the outside of the security area because we couldn't check our bags until 4 hours ahead of our flight. So I was restless, and Renee and somebody else had gone for a walk, and I just thought, you know what, I need to go for a walk. And there's still a little group of us sitting together. And so I asked somebody if they could watch my stuff, and I decided, this is where I got pretty dumb, but I'll give myself a little grace. I was like, I don't want to walk. I had my pocket was full of stuff, and So I was like, I'm going to leave all this stuff here in my backpack. So I took it all out, and here's what was in my pocket. My wallet, which only has everything important, and our 3 passports, my passport, Renee's passport, and Willow's passport. And so I took it out and I put it in my backpack. And I go on my walk. I come back. Everything's fine. Get in. Eventually we board the plane, and I get in my seat, and I'm like, I don't know why, but I was like, oh, I should grab my wallet and put it in my pocket again, everything. And I start going through my backpack, and my wallet's not there. And so I start thinking, what in the heck? And I'm frantically, now I'm sitting in my seat at the back of the plane. There's nobody sitting next to me yet. I'm just there by myself, but I can't find my backpack. And I'm starting to go a little bit crazy in my head, like, where in the heck? No way. And I call Renee, because we were all split up because we were, pushed to a different flight, and everything crazy had happened. So we were just sitting spread out, wherever they could find seats for us. And I said, Renee, you won't believe this. I'm so sorry, but I think that I left my wallet in the airport. I can't find it anywhere. She's like, no way. No way is this true. I'm like, I know. I can't believe it either, but unfortunately, it's true. So I'm going to the flight attendants, and I'm saying, look, this is the deal. Can I please get off and look for it? And they're like, no, I don't think you can get off. But Renee asked somebody up at the front of the plane, and they say, actually, sure, we'll let him off. So I run to the front of the plane, and as I'm about to get off, the guy goes, hey, wait, I have to deplane you, which means I'm going to register that you're off the plane, but you need your boarding pass to get back on. So I race back to my seat, and I pick up because I'm like, where's my boarding pass? It wasn't in my pocket. So I'm like, I must have stuck it in my backpack. So I don't want to take the time to look for it. I just go grab my backpack and I run off the plane. And I go to the area in the airport where I was sitting, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's people sitting there now, but there's no wallet. There's no evidence of anything. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is terrible. But it's so much more light in the airport. I decide I'm going to just look through my backpack again, because maybe I'll be able to spot it out here where I have more space and can see better. So I'm rifling through my backpack again, but there's nothing. There's no wallet or anything. But the worst thing is that now I can't find my boarding pass. It's not in there either. And I'm just thinking to myself, the guy told me that I wasn't going to be able to get back on the plane without a boarding pass. And now I'm really messed up because I don't have that. So I walk back up to the gate, and I'm still kind of like trying to find stuff in my backpack. But I go up there, and I'm like, I am so sorry. Like, I can't even find my boarding pass now. And I didn't find my wallet. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And the guy, he just handed me a new boarding pass. And I was so thankful, because I was literally imagining Renee and Willow and all of the rest, the 7 people going back to Seattle, and me just sitting there in the San Diego airport, hoping that I could, find a place to stay without my wallet or any ID or anything like that. It was crazy. But they let me back on the plane. So I get back on, but I kind of do the walk of shame back to my chair, because everybody, like, knew that I had lost my wallet. And so everybody on the way back is like, did you find it? Did you find it? And I'm just, no, I didn't find it. And I go sit down at the back, and I'd been asking God, like frantically, like, Lord, please help me to find it. Please help me. But I finally was like, okay, like, God, like, I trust you, like, you're good. So I just committed to you. And I was just sitting there and not knowing what to do or anything. But all of a sudden a thought comes to me. Hey, Jesse, there was that time you looked at Jesse's backpack and thought it was your backpack. Do you think that maybe you stuck your wallet and stuff in his backpack? So I call Renee. She's up at the front with Jesse and some other people that are closer. And I go, Renee, can you ask Jesse to look in his backpack and see if maybe I would have stuck my wallet in his backpack? So anyway, he gets up, takes his backpack out of the overhead space, and he looks through, and the next thing I know, I see Renee turn around with my wallet in her hand. I'm like so happy, so excited. I just felt like this weight fall off my shoulders. And the people that were sitting next to me, they also were rejoicing because they were so happy for me too. It was like a really nice, wonderful little community celebration. So anyways, that was kind of amazing. And so I had like this wonderful ride home, everything. And we get to Seattle. I finally turn on my phone again from airplane mode. And I look and I see all these messages from our friends who had lost their backpack too. And I start reading it, and you'll never guess what happened. The police officer, he said, we found it. We went. He's like, this never happens. Not only did they find the backpack, but it like had everything inside of it. It had her headphones. It had the $1,000 cash. It had literally everything. But the funny thing is, not only did it have $1,000 cash, it had an extra $300 in it. And because I think that the people whoever stole it, they were doing this obviously like more than just in this one isolated incident. And so maybe they had stolen other money from something else. But the crazy thing is that the police officer said, I can't tell you much about it, but because of what just happened, they busted something that was much bigger than just the stolen bag. Like it led them to some kind of I don't know what it is, but we were just trying to guess. But it felt like there was some kind of operation, and they were able to actually locate and do an investigation now with like a much bigger thing. So they have to hold her backpack because it's evidence, and she won't get it back for like 3 months. But anyways, totally crazy. So thankful that everything turned out. One of those kind of amazing but true miracles that you don't expect. But that was, by the way, our flight was supposed to leave at 8:30. It didn't leave till 9:30. We got back. We didn't get to bed till 3 o'clock. Like we didn't get home till 3 o'clock that morning. It was quite a wild adventure. So I was drinking and it was 1:30 at night, and I'm downing an energy drink because I didn't want to fall asleep on the way home. It had zero effect on me though. Like, I don't even think it helped me or hurt me. I definitely didn't stay up any later because of it. But that was our Thanksgiving trip adventure right there. It was nuts. Or at least the last day was nuts. Everything before that was pretty normal. Okay, so I'm just kind of making that back hill flat right now. I'm going to put in a little bit of texture to it, but I just feel like it doesn't need to have a ton of detail, and it doesn't need to have a ton of contrast. Yeah, I'm so glad it worked out too. It was the 20 minutes when I didn't have my wallet, that was probably the worst 20 minutes that I've had in quite a while, because I just couldn't believe that I'd done it to myself by taking out my wallet and the passport. I mean, it was just, I couldn't even like wrap my head around how dumb it was. But when it was discovered, I was so relieved. Okay, well, we've got the essence of this on here now. So I think what we'll do is we will come back through and I think like, I like the values, but there's a lot in here that I think I would like to bring in a few more variations of color and hopefully a little bit more saturated in some of the places. I've got a bunch of paint on my palette knife that I didn't clean off the other day. Guess I'll leave it for now. Okay. So let's see. Mix up some more of a pure blue and white. I'm just looking at these comments. You need to read some comments to me, bro. Read some out.
Read some out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Amy was saying you're a man of stories, and God knew that you needed a good one to tell with a heroic ending.
Yeah, I don't mind having stories to tell for sure. It's good. What was crazy is like the for sure the hero of that story was God, man. Like there is the cop himself was so shocked that they found that and everything was still there. Even like logically thinking about it, like what made the guy drop the backpack? He hid it behind a dumpster, something like that. But what would have made that be the logical thing to do without taking any of this stuff out? Like they must have got afraid and just had to dump it down for some reason. But like, you're just thinking, what was the reason for that? It's crazy, but so cool. So amazing.
Angel says your interpretation of the photograph amazes me. Really enjoy this.
Oh, good. I hope that it gets better as we keep going. That's my plan. Oh, my stomach is growling, man. I haven't eaten today yet because I kind of like to do these hungry. You know how you kind of want to, I don't know. Like sometimes being overly full or too full is, you feel complacent. I kind of like living with a bit of hunger. What else do you got for me, Raven?
Let me look.
Ask your questions, guys, or make comments. Give me some stuff to talk about.
Dammy was saying, I will never figure out how you do such amazing work and have a conversation at the same time. And how are you hungry? And now you're hungry.
Oh, it's easy. Painting is easy.
Ready for Christmas. Christmas is soon, yes. Only a month away.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. But painting is so easy, guys. Once you wrap your head around some of the simple things, and like one of the easiest things about painting that's made it easy for me is using a limited palette, not worrying at all. I never worry if my paintings are going to be harmonized with their colors. But then it's just having fun, man. And if you can not take yourself too seriously, it's also helpful. I know that most of the things I do in a painting are probably going to be like kind of dumb. Like I just don't worry about it, And I also realize like what if I do something dumb, which is guaranteed going to happen, I can still fix it. I honestly think that our attitude determines so much about the process. But for me, even if I'm just saying this to myself, it helps me. Right? I've told you guys the story before at some point. I've told you, some of you might not have heard it, but when I was painting I was doing the workshop and I was painting outside and I had people watching me and I was in such a bad mood. I didn't want to be there because my painting wasn't going well. And I started thinking, for real, I started thinking about like going to the bathroom and walking away and not coming back. And then I was like, man, why is my day going so bad? Like it was beautiful. I'm out painting, you know, and I just started thinking, like, why is my attitude such a bad attitude? Maybe I can change my attitude and it'll change the way that I actually feel. So I started saying things to myself that I didn't feel at the time, but I was saying, oh man, today's so good. Wow, I'm just enjoying this so much. And as the words were coming out of my mouth, it was like my attitude started changing. And about a minute into it, because I just kept saying things like that, I actually started feeling that way. And I was like, this is crazy. I am having a good time now. This is enjoyable. So I don't know if that's helpful for anybody else, but fake it till you make it. Just enjoy the process. You're creating something. You're doing something that's beautiful, and even just the process is a beautiful process.
Ricky is wondering, are you directing the viewer to the focal point now?
You know, I hope ultimately I am, but I'm really just kind of trying to add a little bit more interest in the painting in general. Like down here, I didn't like the colors too much. I mean, they were okay, but I felt like they could be a little bit more saturated. Like a lot of the color in there was kind of a grayish green, just because of the mix. So I'm just making a little bit more pure mix, more white and ultramarine with maybe a little bit of the quinacridone red. And yeah, I'm hoping that it will kind of work its way back up this direction. I mean, work the viewer's eye. And I guess I should bring some of this tree color, the back trees. Should add a bit of that over here. So what are you guys looking forward to? Who bought a miniature challenge in the last few days? I think I saw somebody earlier say they bought Diana's Travels Near and Far. I think that's going to be a really fun one for people. Did anybody else buy one though?
Yeah, a few people.
Okay, D. Miller. I drink them too. Oh, I love
It's
coffee
energy
and
drinks.
matcha. What?
I think they're talking about energy drinks right now.
Oh, okay. Man, I do drink energy drinks. I find them on sale. Raven can attest to this, that I basically like took all the cheap energy drinks. Like when I say cheap, I mean they're good energy drinks, but they're at the grocery outlet, and so they're kind of on sale. I found one that I liked, and I went back twice to get what I thought was the last of the stock, but it was back in stock a second time. So I like loaded up so many cases of it. We've got it here in the studio. but I only sip on them. I don't down them. That's why it's so funny. It's because it'll probably take me, I don't know how long. But then I do have some young guys come over every once in a while, and one of them was like dipping into them the other day. So I was thinking, man, I'll probably go through them relatively fast, especially if he comes over. He'll down them. I know he will.
Everyone's saying keep track of your heart rate.
Yeah, I like, honestly, the one that I have it doesn't have that much caffeine in it compared to other ones, but it's like I said, I don't drink the whole thing at once. It's kind of easier than drinking a cup of coffee. That's the way I think of it. It's like I don't have to make a cup of coffee, and I don't know, I don't have to intake as much. But that's just me trying to get you to not worry about me. I don't want you to worry about me what if I like stumbled and passed out right now? Let's see, maybe there's a little bit of... Sometimes, you get these clearings where there's not any, really any trees, and so it kind of changes the way you can see the snow. So that's what I'm thinking about doing here is it's on that back hill, making a couple clearings.
Someone's wondering the easiest way to grab the reference.
Go back to the beginning of this. I can show it again at the end, but take a screenshot at the very beginning of this live stream, which if you can even do it right now, like just by going back, basically rewinding it to the beginning. Because even though this is live, sometimes people are watching a few minutes behind. We figured that out during some of our live streams when people would be commenting, 20 minutes later, answering a question that I had asked 20 minutes ago, and I couldn't figure it out until Peter, he finally goes, it's because somebody came, they started the stream late or somehow they paused it or something, they fell behind. So they're just commenting now. The comment comes through at this exact time that they write it, but they're responding to something that happened 10 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago. And all of a sudden, a lot of my life made sense. Because that's happened so many times during live streams, and I never knew what was going on.
I believe, Carrie, it's a 12 by 12 canvas, right?
Yep, 12 by 12. And I'm gonna make one more blitz through this. I need to get some white paint here. But I'm gonna make one more mad dash through the painting. There we go. And let's see, I want to do a couple things. I'm going to come up into the sky again. I like this yellow in the sky, really light yellow. And we'll shape around these trees one more time. This should be a lot more opaque, cover it better. Create a little bit more of a tree line on that far hill. So tell me this, what are your guys' goals for this next year? Do you have any goals that you're thinking about? Why not start right now? We don't have to wait till January 1st. It's December 1st, but tell me your goals. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want your art to be like? What do you want your life to be like?
Carrie says to not procrastinate.
Okay.
Shara says to get my art gallery or get in my
Get in an art gallery. Okay. I want to get at least one of the minis complete. Paint from a photo. What does that mean exactly? I'm guessing you're saying instead of another option. Okay, let's see.
See a lot of people wanting to paint more.
That's good. I love that. That is too bright right there. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna look at these real quick. I love that the courage to paint plein air. Work on my own voice, following your directions really helps to create my own style. That's awesome. I want to paint on larger canvases, and for Chanimus, I'm looking forward to purchasing a projector. I think you must mean Christmas, but I don't know, or maybe I'm just don't know what you mean. And large stretch canvases, that's cool. Clean out my junk room and make a studio. Awesome. I'm going to review your color mixing guide with cheat sheets again. It's the difficult part for me to come up with the colors I want to see on the canvas. Yeah, I got you. I understand. I'm actually like, the thing is, like, this painting to me is a good example of, oh, whoops, that brush was like hard as a rock. Some of these colors are fine, but the values are too light. When I look at this, I'm like realizing that there's a, like some of these they're kind of getting light, and then they're almost blending in too much with the middle ground. And so I don't notice it until I see it on the screen, like as a smaller image, and then it kind of stands out to me. But all that to say that sometimes the color, the mix, man, there is so much freedom in it, but it really matters about how dark or light that is, right? So right up here, it's kind of undefined. It's not a real clear kind of like what is up there. It's almost like there's, like in the reference photo, it's kind of like some grass or smaller, tiny little shrubby brush kind of stuff. It's the first time I've painted in a while. Portmanteau. Oh, okay. I got you. You're using too big of words for me. But I think I understand. I'm a simple person. I have a simple mind. That's what I kept telling people on the trip. Okay, guys. We're going to be done here. We're going to be wrapping it up. I feel like there's maybe just a couple things that I would still feel good about doing, and that would be adding a little bit more of this this blue, a little bit darker, a little bit more true of a mix. I think also I want to take some of this and mute it down a little bit. It's maybe just a little bit too blue back here for me. I don't know. I like it, but then sometimes it kind of competes with this foreground area. I think that's better. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to grab some of this black and it's a couple places where it just went away completely. I think it would be nice if it was back. You want to know something else that happened yesterday? Our daughter Willow, she kind of likes this boy in her school, and this boy kind of asked her if she wanted to hang out on Wednesday after school. And so Renee and I, it's the first time that Willow's really liked anybody, or at least that she's told us about. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with you hanging out with somebody on Wednesday after school, but I'm going to meet them first. We're going to have a little sit down talk, because I'm that kind of dad. There's no way you're hanging out with my daughter unless I know who you are, you know? So we sat down yesterday, we had a meeting, and then we had Renee and I were meeting with some people about kind of debriefing the trip to San Diego and Mexico. And then after that, we sat down with this young boy, 8th grade boy. And it was actually really nice. He's a sweet young boy, but I did put the fear of God in him at the same time. I said, I'll either be your best friend or your worst enemy, bro. You decide. You treat her nice, I'll treat you nice. It was fun. And he is actually a really respectful young guy. And he's like, deal. He goes, a deal. He goes, let's shake on it. He wanted to shake my hand. Isn't that funny, Raven?
Yeah.
I actually like him. And we met his family and stuff. But, it's always good to make sure that, at least in my opinion, I'm like, I take my job as a dad very seriously. And Willow's known that from day one. So, like, I kind of told her afterwards, I was like, hey, if I embarrassed you too much, I'm sorry. She is like, it was fine. You didn't embarrass me. But there was a time when I looked over at her and her cheeks were just completely red. Oh, man. But I think it was all right. She knows that I love her. And I think she appreciates, at least to some degree, my I don't know, care. I don't know what you'd call it. But in the future, I know she will. If she doesn't now, it's okay. I think being a dad, and for us, Renee and I as parents, like one of the things that we're learning over and over again is you know, you have to let go more and more as they grow up. And like, I really do love Willow and I respect her. And I think she's very wise for her age. And when I sit and I think about all that stuff, I know it's right to, you know, give her more freedom with responsibility. But there's also this part that is like, it's different. It's like changing, you know, like, and so you have to adjust the way that you think about things, because, you know, when Willow was younger, I mean, you don't really like, I don't know. There's just so many things that are different when she's a little bit older, and you're letting go of that. But when she's young, you're just like maybe in even more of a mode of protection. I don't know. Anyway, trying to make the eye go up there a little bit. And I want to do one thing here. I have a line. What are you laughing at?
Carrie said my parents met my boyfriends too. He hunted, so the rifle was always in view.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, guys, well, I'm done with this. I guess it's time. What I can do now is grab this. Let's come down here. This is dry. Let's sign this. Love it. Good, fun, great time. Okay, I'm gonna look at this. All right, you guys, you're very welcome. Loving your kids shows up in the adults they become. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You're doing that out of love. I know our kids are so precious. That's the whole thing, man. Oh, yeah. You remember her coming in some classes with her favorite plushie and her cat. I know, that's the thing, is like, just remember what it was like to be the poor boy sitting down to meet the dad for the first time. No, I do. I was not mean to him. I was actually really nice to him, but it was fun. Okay, guys, let me switch views here real quick. I'm going to go like this. We're going to take a walk back in time. Remember to text me 425-400-2094. If you got a text today already, then it probably means you're on my list. But if you haven't got a text for today, then make sure that you do text me and say, add me to your list. And also, we still have the miniature challenge sale going on. And there's one more thing I would say is, guys, I'm going to be posting some of these paintings on my site again. So if you want to go over there, jeddorseyart.com. And I'm actually going to be doing my 12 days of Christmas sale here pretty soon. So anyways, guys, loved hanging out. It was so fun. Hope that you guys have the most wonderful day ever. And make sure that you are brave and courageous in your art. Make sure you're brave in life, because the world will be a more beautiful place when you become more brave. Much love, you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.